everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm back today with Tuesday 10, and it's been a little while because typically in the months where I'm doing some kind of a challenge, I don't do Tuesday 10 because it's a big video, and when you're doing daily videos, it's a little hard to manage both. I also had such a busy week last week that I just didn't have a lot of time for filming, and I don't know what this week is going to look like. It might be a little bit the same. That being said, if you're new to Tuesday 10, welcome. Tuesday 10 is where I take 10 things that I have kept in my basket of papers and things at the back of my desk. It could be collage boards, magazine pages, book pages, printouts of digitals that didn't get used, things, random things. And I just kind of keep on crafting until I have made something out of all the things. So let me show you what we have. This is a book page from a beautiful monochrome children's book. It has deer on it, which is great because I'm working on some deer journals right now, which I don't think I've shown you guys. I think I've only shown Patreon. And then we have this. This is from an Aesop's Fable book, this little screeching crow. This is some jelly printing that I did with gilding, gold sheets. What is that stuff called? I forget the name. Anyways, there's that. This is The Frog and the Toad, a page from that. These little bits are from a book I think called Tommy Nobody, and they're just like little children's book pages. So I thought we could do something fun with those. This is a little ex libris from a vintage Reader's Digest. And then a little collage board. Another children's book page. This one's really fun. This kind of cute little kid here with this toadstool and flowers and a bird. It's just really pretty. And then this is from my Studioloo Journal Together kit for Patreon from June 2023. These bits have been hanging out in my bin. So yeah, they've been there for a while. So how shall I begin? Let me think. I think I'll start with easy first. And what I want to do with this Ex Libris label is actually quite simple. I just really want to cut it out because I want to use it for a journal. These are the kind of things that you keep because you can reuse them. So if you ever get a book that has a really nice Ex Libris label at the front, you can keep it. Maybe I'll even set it aside for the journals that I'm... Actually, no, I don't think I want it for the journal I'm making. I'll just put it in my little bin, but I'll set it over here because it counts for today. And these are just like pieces that would go into scrap for collaging. Now, maybe we'll work with these bits. I love this nest. I love these birds. And I think I'd love to make like little pockets with both of them. Or possibly, yeah, probably pockets. We'll see. But I need to start with some packaging that we can back these on. And I do have a little holiday packaging left over from things that were in my kids' stockings, including these gushers. So I'm going to keep the two big panels here for this. So I hope you're all doing well. It's been quite cold and snowy here, which has been nice. I took a very nice walk yesterday. I'm enjoying the snow. Much better than cold, muddy rain. Did a little bit of thrifting yesterday because it wasn't really thrifting. It was a little bit of thrifting, but mostly I forgot I had bid on an auction for just a book lot that looked interesting, and it was an estate auction for this lovely lady, a lovely German woman who lives sort of a few towns over from me. I guess she must have passed away, and they were doing a full in-home estate auction, and she had lots of lovely things, lots of books. She's a very varied and intelligent reader, and so I had bid on a few of the lots, but as I often do when I'm bidding on estate auctions, I completely forget about them. So every now and then, like when I'm paying attention, that's one thing, but I often am not, and then I will lose out on everything because I'm not tracking the auction. But then sometimes I'll just win something because nobody else bids on it, and that's what happened yesterday. So for $2, I got a whole 2 boxes of randomness books and some other random papers and things, and some of it went into my little free library because they were like, you know, fiction readers that I wouldn't really read, and some of it I do want to read so it'll go into my library to actually read. And then I did get some nice stuff for journaling, so I'll probably do a thrift haul video with you this week. I've got a couple things. I didn't do a lot of thrifting really. Sorry. And so yeah, that was nice. And the reason that I even bid on that auction was because there was a copy of A Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. So, you know, we have to get Edith Holden whenever we shall find her. And that is what it was funny because the man said to me, because it was such a little auction, right, and there was only my one bid on it, he said, oh, he's like, good, I didn't think you were going to come. And, you know, they looked like a family of people who were just having quite a busy day of helping people out with all their random purchases of this entire home and, like, you know, cleaning out this home. And I said, oh, yeah, I had to come because, you know, I wouldn't have wanted to leave you with these things. But also, I came for this. And he's like, oh, what's so special about that book? And so I said, well, let me show you. So I opened it and I showed him. And I told him a little about Edith Holden. He was fascinated. And it's a nice little conversation to have. And he said, well, I hope there's some more things in there that are like that you can, you know, find enjoyment with. And I said, I'm sure there will be. And there is. There's a nice book, kind of a biographical book about when Farley and Claire Mowat moved to Canada. There's some like Newfoundland history there, which makes me happy because I love Newfoundland. And it's always fun to find like Newfoundland books, and there's a whole history of Newfoundland that I would love to read. Sorry, I'm a little gravelly this morning. It's quite early this morning. I'm just getting my bearings about me. But I wanted to get up early before the day begins so I could get a video in. I have been working in the background. I'm generally doing okay. I just, every now and then I feel sort of like I just want to putter and work on what I'm doing without filming. But then, of course, I miss being here for the conversation and, you know, being a part of like YouTube and chatting with you guys and that kind of thing. You just got to go with, you know, what the heart wants. Sometimes you need quiet time, and that's okay. These are cute. I love these little books. These little illustrated books are so sweet. I have a few of them. There's like a series of 4, and I think there's 2 series of 4 of these little books. I think they're called the Wonder Library or the Wonder Nature Library, and they're just so very cute. So yeah, those are cute little tuck spots. So we'll set those aside. Now, the Frog and the Toad, I suspect I will use independently of any of the other things I have. Sometimes it's easier for me to like try to combine more than one thing from the Tuesday 10 pile, but this is just, I think, a cute little journal card. I think I will keep that green border, but I'll trim it down a little bit. And then we need to look at is there anything good here? Hello, crow, shouted the toad. I don't know if I want that one a whole lot. I kind of like that one better than that one. I might just keep like hello crow, shouted toad. It's just kind of cute. I'm trying to decide what else I will do today. I know my daughter has some homework, and I actually have some work activities that I might try to do today before tomorrow. Because I have planning sessions this week that are going to eat up lots of my time, unfortunately. That up here. Yeah. I also sort of feel like I've had like such an immersed work week that I have so little to talk about. I haven't really been watching anything interesting. I have had little to no time to read. So yeah. That's the thing about when you're on YouTube, you've got to be really good about, well, not really good, but decently good about, being conversational. And when there's not so much to talk about, it's a little more challenging. But for those of you who've been around, I think you're used to my blathering about random things. And so thank you for hanging out. So glad to be getting rid of this packaging. I find whenever a holiday happens, my recycle bin gets too full, and then I spend like a week trying to not create so much recycling, because once you're in a backlog, recycling only comes every 2 weeks here. You're in that sort of forever you have too much recycling backlog. But I think I'm catching up. It's just around these corners. I also moved my sewing machine so that it's right beside me now, so I can actually just turn my chair and use my sewing machine, which is going to make my life so much easier. I was sort of thinking about how much time I waste getting up, going over there, sewing, coming back, and I wanted to kind of improve that. But also, I got my daughter, I found like an antique roll top desk, but it's just the top of it, no legs. So, when you think about a roll top desk, right, it's got that rolling wooden track thing that kind of covers everything, and then it's got all these slots that you can put things into. Well, like when I saw it, first of all, it's the perfect width. It's the same size as her desk, and there's this kind of wall space that's like at the back of her desk that she has a paper roll on, and we had some pictures hung there, but I was like, imagine if I repurpose this desk so it's not a flat laying desk, but I flip it upside down so it's like these pockets that you could put things in. So that's what I did yesterday, and there's a light switch there, so I had to cut like a rectangle for the light switch to sit behind in the roll top desk, and that's fine, and then skirt it on the wall, and it's like so perfect. She can keep she likes to do a lot of drawing with all her fancy markers. She's got Poscas and Copics and Sharpies and all manner of markers and paint markers and things. So yeah, I think she likes it because she can keep all her stuff organized and it's easier. Just looking for something else maybe to put on here to make this a little more interesting. Just looking through my bits of ephemera. And there may not be much of anything, but we'll see. That could be cute, maybe over here. We'll see. Or I have a smaller one. That might be better. Okay. Like this. Like this. Yeah, I think I went with the first way. So I was thinking a bit about, I do a lot of like reading and thinking about overconsumption. And I know like a lot of people are doing like no spend like January or no spend 2025 or no buy February or one of those, like, you know, let's take things to the other end of the spectrum because we feel overwhelmed. And I've decided like I'm not doing that. I'm really going to try to just do all things in balance. And I don't think everyone is capable of that. And I get that. So that's why, you know, for some people, I think it is good that you go with these kind of ways of creating a challenge for yourself. But I don't really need to do that, so I'm not going to. Instead, I'm trying to do this like small ethical business 2025, where I basically do a couple things. I make sure that the business that I'm buying from is as ethical as possible. Like I basically look at what their beliefs are, you know, what they publish if I can, and also that they're like a local or a small business. They're not like a big giant chain. I try to do less Amazon, Walmart, you know, any big kind of businesses. And I don't buy from places that just have really shown that they have bad ethics, right? So that's my plan for 2025 and beyond. In terms of my like goals for spending versus not spending. And I think also when it comes to spending, I did a lot of thinking last year, and I think we all do this as creatives or even collectors. If you're not even an artist or a creative or a maker, you know, just if you collect things and you enjoy taking in creative content, I think it's easy to make a few observations. Like, if you are a creator, what do I actually use? Because, you know, it was fascinating. I found a couple of people that I follow last year. They made the observation that they buy a lot of books, but they don't actually use them. And then some people buy certain kinds of books, but then they end up not using certain kinds of books, but they do use other kinds. And then some people, you know, realize like that they're buying too many mediums, like, you know, pastes and things and paints even, and they can't use them up in time, and that they're drying out, and that was stressing them out. So I've been looking kind of at the studio a little bit, and I really liked so I think both my friends Mary Ellen at Red Parrot and Shell at Shell's Creative Chaos, both of them did some kind of audit on things that they used versus didn't use. Like I know I saw Shell had done how many glue sticks did I use in 2024, and Mary Ellen actually kept like an itemized list of all the things that were used up, from rolls of washi tape to like books to, you know, just things like that. And I thought that was really fascinating. And I know like a lot of people buy books, but then they don't use them, or like they hoard them, or they don't know how to use them. So that's why I actually do that series, Use Your Books, and I'll be doing another one of those videos really soon. But yeah, it's like, I think it's a good thing to pay a little attention to those things, especially if like you're a creator who buys things to resell your wares that you make. Like I buy, you know, vintage books or art supplies to sell my journals. I've actually found that last year, definitely, I was really good at only buying things I would use. But I mean, you guys who are here, you see me all the time. I'm using books, right? And I'm even doing it when I'm not on camera, because obviously that's where a lot of Tuesday 10 comes from. It's like the leftovers of books that I've used. I'm going to keep this little poem too. And I just put things like this right in my word box. I've always liked this little poem. Whether the weather be cold, whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. And I like that so much because living in Canada, it's a really important like perspective to have, and it's something that I try to embrace, especially with my kids, because, you know, we have these days it's a slightly different winter with climate change than it once was. But when I was a kid, let me tell you, winter was, you know, we could have feet and feet of snow, and you would be out there building snow forts and things. It's not really, it's been years now since I've seen snow like that, to be honest. We have the most snow we've had right now, and it's probably only been about 3, maximum 4 inches of accumulation, I would say. So it's much less than it once was, unfortunately, but the temperatures still get quite cold, although not as cold as when I was younger. Like, I remember things getting closer to minus 40, but now it seems like people are quite stressed when it's even like minus 20. I don't know, minus 10. I get these notifications on my smart devices that there's these weather channel weather monitors, and I kind of giggle because, like, you know, what does that even mean? Attention, it's winter. Attention, it's raining. There is fog. Like, it's very funny. But I guess also it's like the more you know, it's good to know if it's foggy, if you're going to drive, or those kind of things. This is really adorable. Very like a baby gnome kind of image. And also, my hand is hurting today. I have no idea why, but yesterday this hand was hurting. Today this hand is hurting, and I think it has something to do with just being a woman and the cyclical things of life. But yeah. I wasn't doing anything particularly strenuous or repetitive, I don't think. Okay, so the little things I've mostly used up. There's the collage board, and obviously this little one, and I know what I want to do with that, and then obviously this. So I think I'm going to tear this down to respectable size here that I can work with. I guess I was using my great big jelly plate the day that I was jelly printing with this. That's actually quite a cute little scrap. I'm gonna just cut into a label because it's got gold. And you can't throw away gold, so we'll keep that as a little label. And I think this one, I'll just tear the top. And are we pretty well? Well, that side's a little eh. Let's just tear a little off the top here too. Here we go. And I've been following the footage of the terrible fires in LA, and it's so sad. We had a very similar situation last summer, or the summer before. Maybe the summer before, with wildfires in Canada, in BC, and just the hopelessness that you feel in those scenarios is so hard, you know, and it's like, it's very sad and awful, and I hate seeing people lose things, you know. It's the same kind of sadness that you feel when you watch what's going on in places like Gaza, and you can't do a whole lot about it, but, you know, your heart's there and you feel awful and you wish you could do a lot more. Because, yeah, none of these places are supposed to be on fire. It's not supposed to be happening. But truly, I hope to see a return of ethics in the world where fire departments are not cut back while police budgets soar, and, you know, billionaires don't get to manipulate things, and people start to really, I'd say, depoliticize things like climate change. Because I think a lot of times, and, you know, these are just my thoughts. If you have different thoughts, that's okay. So please don't get upset. But I think my feeling is that we've all been sort of in this world where for quite some time now, information is harder and harder to get in a really neutral way, where you just kind of get like real scientific fact. And I think things like the oil and gas industry, you know, lead us to believe that like things like climate change aren't really, you know, responsible for certain things. And also, like, I saw something yesterday about, you know, we have to stop thinking of climate change as some uncontrollable disaster that we have no power over, and start looking at it as a crime, because that's what in fact it is. It's a crime of like the oil and gas industry and the politicians who hold up that industry. And I absolutely feel the same way. And I know that a lot of people believe, like, you know, they really like their pickup truck, or they really don't want to have an electric car because they don't like the battery technology. And they're obviously, it's not a perfect answer either. And I think you can have multiple problems at once, but like you can work towards solving all of those problems. And I kind of hope that's where we start to go. Like, how do we actually save this whole planet and make it better for everybody? But especially the future, the kids, right? That's the big one, because many of us won't be here when a lot of this stuff really starts to like have an effect. I mean, arguably, I'd say it's already having a major effect. But I think some people don't feel effects until they're like truly apocalyptic for some reason. So that's why I say it as I do. So what I'm going to do here, I think, is go over this while it's still glued down. It's a nice way to kind of do edging. You get like a nice edging effect. And I'll go over these little cutouts of these helicopters, or maple seeds. Then we'll have another nice little tuck spot. It's like the day of the tuck spot. I'm working on the most fun journals right now for my Patreon, but I can't share them with you guys, but I have to remember to make a video of them this month. So I know I've, talked before about my Patreon. So one of the levels of my Patreon is like, you can get a journal from me monthly. And I am about to publish my year's themes for 2025. I'm a little behind on it because it takes a good amount of thought. So the theme I'm working on right now is tiny gifts. So I had in mind for tiny gifts, what are tiny gifts in life? Let's think about it. So I guess I was a little inspired by the concept of Advent, but not quite that. I think a little bit about tiny gifts are the things that you find on beaches and in forests. Little found objects. Maybe you found it in your grandmother's jewelry box. And then other kinds of tiny gifts are things that people who like to befriend crows might get from a crow that they've tried to befriend, like a little shiny stone. Tiny gifts are things that children with beautiful little hearts give to you as gifts. Things that they make or things that they find. And then also kind of the literal, like, here are tiny things that I treasure and collect, like stamps or coins, and how they could be gifts. So that's what I'm working with, and I've really had a lot of fun making the journals. I'm still working on the ephemera because some of the clubs you get both of them, and I've kind of dug into that. That's what I did a bit of yesterday before I went out to pick up my auction. I was just really working on those, and I'll make a video this time. I often forget, like last month's theme, I didn't make a video, but the journals have been shipped to their owners, and the theme last month was grandmother's closet, and I had a little bit of a nostalgia kind of write-up that I sent to my Patreons about why that theme inspired me. And it's about the fact that, like, my own grandmother probably sowed some seeds of creativity in me by keeping boxes and boxes of holiday cards from her family that I was allowed to use to kind of do cutting and pasting and scrapbooks and things like that. So, yeah. All right, so let's get the last of these torn out. So this is an Irish sweepstakes ticket. These are some old photographs and cabinet cards. So we've got these to use. But then beyond that, excuse me, I don't think either of these go with those at all, really. So I think we're going to need focal points and also to figure out what we want to do. So this, I really think, will be like tags today. Obviously, you can do all sorts of things with collage boards, but I'm thinking I want tags. This one, yeah, I'm going to leave that as a wide one. So those will be the base for tags, but we need focal points, and obviously this. What do we want to do with this beautiful thing? So we've done lots of tuck spots. I think what I might do with this, well, I'm going to tear it in half. Because it's got that natural fold already happening. On this side, I want to see if I can manipulate the color at all with a bit of green. I'm just going to check and see if that will work. It will. Let's move these out of the way. And then I can get a little space in here to kind of add some oxide to this. Because I love green gold and I love purple and green together. And this is a little shiny. And the paint I used, or the medium I used, I think I used a little bit of gold leafing tack, so it stayed tacky. I feel like I want to put like baby powder on it to take the tack out, and it's just in these shiny areas. You hear that? It's a little tacky. So what's going to happen now is the ink, it's going to stick to all the tacky areas and get rid of that sticky feeling. And that's absolutely happening. It feels so much better now once I've put this on. It almost looks like a bit of a map. I've since learned, I was experimenting with jelly printing with gold leafing, and I've since learned you don't need that gold leafing medium at all. It's kind of a tricky technique anyways, but yeah, it's fun. Now this one doesn't feel as tacky because it doesn't have as much sticky, but I'm just going to do a little bit. Just kind of run it over, because it will pick up where things are tacky, and also it will get rid of the white. I was thinking a lot about, mostly last week, about the Tim Holtz discussion around him no longer designing products. And I'm mostly wondering about what that means in terms of what the companies are going to do with the manufacturing of like his SKUs, right? His products. Because, you know, obviously I think oxide, like distress oxide and ink will stick around, but like, as you know, he's made a lot of really beautiful things, and you can't get them anymore because once they come out, if they're seasonal, they get all bought up and they're gone. And a lot of his releases have been seasonal. They haven't been just, whatever. And a lot of his stuff that was just regular, like a scrapbook paper, it's not made anymore. And it saddens me to think like that we may no longer get any of that kind of stuff with his aesthetic in mind. I do like his aesthetic. Well, I kind of like that, actually. I didn't think these would go together, but I do like that one. Let's make that one. So yeah, it's I know a lot of people have been talking about it. I've been kind of hearing some opinions that surprised me, like a little bit of dramatic, where people think like he's making a decision that they don't agree with or something, but I don't know. I look at it like it's obviously his life. I think if he wants to make a decision about what he does with it, that he should proceed without asking permission from anyone. But yeah, it does make me think about like even things like the crackle paste and the grit paste and like all the mediums, things like the paper dolls. And like, I think a lot of people, their own creativity is quite tied to his signature. So what will that do, I wonder? I think for me, it made me feel like between that and just the like AI being everywhere, it made me feel very happy that I have in fact collected all the old books that I have, because I will still have like things like that. It also makes me happy that I've been building myself like a digital archive too, that when I do buy antique things, I scan them. That's why another fun thing on my Patreon is that, my journal together kits that I do every month, like I often have a lot of my scanned like cabinet cards, and I use the originals in journals, but only after I've scanned them. And same with like documents, invoices, things like that. Like I think a time will come where the scarcity of these things will become important, and like it'll be harder for us to get them. Because, even right now, there's a huge like resellers market out there, and a lot of times those people focus on clothing, but or games or different things like that. But that being said, there's a lot of different markets that resellers are into. Like I've been lucky because I collected Pyrex before it got huge. I collected vintage toys before it got huge. Both of those things took off. Yeah, I don't know. I know that I do see ephemera and posts, especially things like postcards, photographs, old letters being sold for very high prices. Stamps, obviously. Most antique paper, like tickets and stuff, like. But one of the nice things is I think Tim Holtz was another one of those kind of aggregators of accumulated like materials, right? It would give you those materials even though you don't have the originals. We need a label or something here. Let me see. These are cute, but I don't think it's right for this. That might be a nice little addition to this if we ink it with another label. What do I have? No, those are too similar. I need to probably cut out labels again. Or I need to look at my stash and see what I actually have going on, because there's a good possibility I do have some already. And I'm just not doing enough looking around. Oh, that birdhouse is so cute. Okay. We're getting off topic. Stay on task here. Potentially one of these. That's a cool one. These I cut out of like a book of hours. Like, this one maybe. Yeah, I think that one would be better. And the other thing is like the pre-cut ephemera, the laser cut ephemera. I love his little labels and things, right? It's like so nice to have those things. Like obviously you can cut things out and stuff, but sometimes it's really nice to have those little labels. And the hard thing too is in where I live anyways, in Canada, there's very few places to get Tim Holtz. Like the one scrapbook store that I do have access to, they order it, but not very much of it. So it's usually sold out pretty quickly, and they don't really place a lot of orders for that stuff. And that comes down to personal, you know, what do you want to stock as a retailer? What do you sell, you know? And unfortunately, we don't have any big art or craft stores that carry those products. Like Michael's has become such a nightmare, really, to shop in. They don't really carry a whole lot. I honestly only go there to buy Fabri-Tac glue. Like if they didn't sell Fabri-Tac, I'd probably almost never go. Maybe this just doesn't fit, and I thought it did. Or does this need to go down here? Yeah, that's a little better. And maybe, you know, I had these leaves out. I might just put one of those back there as an accent. Yeah, these little ghost leaves are so delicate. These, but we'll get it on there. So yeah, like I can only get Tim Holtz when I go to the US, and I usually will go to Joann's. I can find it there, or like I look for independent paper stores, scrapbook stores, because Hobby Lobby I do not shop at. Again, that's one of those ethics things. They do not share my ethics on the LGBTQ community, so I do not spend my money there. Because, you know, the way you spend your money, it's very attached to things, especially in America, I would say. Or probably everywhere, but I think we hear about it more in America. That's probably more fair. Here we go. I like that. Just gonna straighten this edge out here. There we go. I think a bit of stitching around that and it'll be good. Okay, then this one. Maybe we can do something with these photographs and these collage boards. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? I was expecting to have to go and pull out some more focal points. But I like how this collage board came out. I find like making collage boards these days, I really try to focus on like putting like colors together. Like I'm not random with it. Maybe I once was, but I'm not anymore. I try to make it work better together. I think that would be nice, but I've got to trim it down a little more. So I think we'll go to the inner border. And when I was at my office last week, I saw the cutest little fox run by. My office is like right next to this really big park, and it has a big walking path that we walk on. And yeah, I like that. It's always fun to see wildlife, urban wildlife kind of running around. I don't think we'll do the lotto ticket on that. The challenge is this is a smaller image. I feel like I need something to stack with it, but nope. Nope. Maybe a little map. And see, this is the other kind of thing like Tim Holtz provides, is these layers. Yeah, I like that. That's a good little layer. Although, you know, you can make these kind of things from books. You buy history books. I really like buying books that are about sort of a town, like, or a city, or like a place. And there's like, it's a historical kind of like the history of Toronto or something. And, you know, you're going to get a lot of old photos, old maps, or even art books, art history books. You're going to get lots of, you know, masters paintings, and also often, you know, vintage photography or like illustrations from the time. Good, good, good. Now, again, I need a little something down here. What's this? Like a little municipal announcement. Maybe as a layer. What's this say? Time eateth all things, could old poets say. I don't know. Actually, I kind of like that. Yep, we're gonna do that. And then I'm going to do, I'm going to spray it too with coffee to age the whole thing, because this is a watercolor label that I made with snippets. I think I did a tutorial on these on Patreon. I do, like, on Fridays, I usually do either Fodder Friday or Freebie Friday. So on Fodder Friday, you get some kind of a video making journal fodder, like things like labels and, you know, how to create your own fussy cut things or whatever. And on Freebie Friday, you get a digital of some kind. This past week, I did Freebie Friday, and it was some old, beautiful, antique German two-sided die-cut dolls, and they're a lot of fun. And then other times on Fridays, you just get something random that's cool, like a video or something like that. Let's use this for a moment to just do a little bit of spraying, and I think I want to turn this one into a tag. And I think I'll pair it with some of this brown as I'll stitch on it. Oh, and then I've got, you know what this is calling to me, is this little bit of book spine here up top. That would be great. I need to refill this bottle. Okay, good. Coffee. We'll just let that sit for just a moment. Put the glue cap back on. The fun thing with using coffee in this way is I've got a bunch of different things going on. Like there's some, you know, printout, there's some book page, there's some like gilding wax and watercolor crayon and all sorts going on, and it's going to act a little different on all those different things, so you get some fun different effects. So I'm just going to pick it up off the wet surface because it will dry a lot faster when you take it up off of whatever you sprayed it on. And then we'll just take the heat tool . So see how it's changing the printed out photograph? And the way that I store coffee in a spray bottle is just coffee and alcohol. Add about a tablespoon of alcohol in the bottom of a spray bottle, and that keeps it from, you know, spoiling, getting any mold or any smelly old coffee smell or something. It turns it into more of like, you know, a medium. And I definitely like how it aged this hand-drawn label, as well as the word snippets. We'll singe this book spine a little bit, the little hairs that come up off of it from the cloth. And I will, at the end, I will stitch all around this as well. We got really nice modeling on this photograph. And nice little coffee stains in the background. Little tiny shapes. Okay. So then you have this, and then I will stitch around it. Okay, let's get rid of this page. It's a little sticky. Then I have, okay, a couple of photographs. Now, I don't know if this purple with this lady, no, it's a little too wild. And I think I'll also cut the edge off of this one because I did on the bottom. So we have those two old photos. And then this purple stuff. We have one more of the collage boards. So that goes with that. So I think the focal points I'll go with today are going to come out of this Russian book, because purple often makes me think of, like, you know, nobility and all of that kind of thing. So I'm going to just go in here. Beautiful end papers in this book. And we will find something from this Russian book to use. Maybe her. And I think I'll also go with some word snippets. So I'm going to probably find about 2 or 3, maybe 4 of these things that I want to use. Bit of Egyptian. I don't want to do Egyptian. I want this to be something I can fussy cut out. I should also look at removing the pages that I know I won't use as I go through. It's my way of thinning down my books. It's like if I know definitely, like, I'm not going to use the page, although there are these beautiful borders that you could cut out, so maybe I won't get rid of too much. Only if something is, like, disturbing to me or something. Yeah, this page I don't need. Get through all this early art, I think, and then get through the Byzantine into hopefully Baroque. If this is like a truly history kind of art history book. I love these frames. I think I'll end up using these, just the frames, not the images inside. So that's one reason to keep it. Like, look how beautiful that frame is. But right now I am trying to find... Oh, I like her. Perhaps him. We'll do a couple of these. Yeah. Then I need my word box, which is far, far, far away, far away. I just gotta grab. Here we go. Apparently there's also stuff in my word box that doesn't belong there. We've got glue. We got tape. We've got old tape. From this little box I keep old tape in. You know, the things we keep. I'm going to pause for 1 second to get organized. Okay, I'm organized, and I even have the word snippets that I want to use, so we don't have to wait on that. So if I look at both of these, I don't want to keep the frame. So let's just tear out this. And you could obviously use the remainder of this, you know, border and stuff for, like, collage. Okay. That's one. So now I think I'm going to cut out, I'm going to fussy cut around here, remove the background. I also think using these old masters type pieces, along with like making your own funny, satirical, or sarcastic kind of word snippets is a really fun way to make your own greetings. Now we'll cut out the sky. I'm going to find a way to sort of soften these images a little too. Okay. And then I think I'm going to use this front of a scrapbook thing that I sprayed on with coffee on the back to glue down the purple bits here. Okay. One. And I'll grab the other one. So if you hear my kids upstairs, they're on the trampoline. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. Now I will cut these apart here. I think we can probably keep these two little bits. I always try to even like use my scraps in a smart way. Like those would make cute little labels. You know, you just kind of cut off the edges. And then that gives you more stuff from your, you know, the pre-made grabbing that I'm doing, like, especially if you make videos, this is the nice kind of stuff to just sort of have around in your little stash. Then you don't have to keep, like, going to find things. We'll just cut those apart. Now, I need to figure out, do I want to do, like, 2 of these on this one, because it will fit, and then we'll still have this one, or do we want to create like a larger, taller piece that has a lot of background? This would be kind of cool with like stars in the background. He would kind of look like a bit of a, you know, a celestial kind of thinker. And also I like her on this background with all this gold. It's beautiful. Yeah, I might just give them some space for that reason. Okay. And then we'll have some nice leftover scraps probably too. Oops. Trying to think what I have in terms of stars and celestial. I think I have a few things. So we'll pop him on here at the bottom. But now I just realized probably what I pulled out for him for words won't work, but I think what's on the other side will. And that's okay. Whoops. I might need different glue for her. Yeah, because there's a lot of collage material back there, like medium. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac for her. My son is actively, loudly participating in something upstairs. It was funny, the bus driver who drives my son to school, he said to my husband, "Does he do a lot of singing?" And my husband said, "Yeah." He's like, "'Cause he's always singing on the bus." I said, "That's nice." I'm like, "Hopefully not too loud or disruptive." He's like, "No, no, no." So it's good. Yeah, that's much better. That holds down a lot better. I think it's just the weirdness of that collage, or that medium that I used for the gilding. It was a little like sticky, but can't be stuck to by your traditional glues. All right, now let's get the chopper here. I just got that new smaller guillotine. I'm trying to think of where I put it over there. Okay. I should probably try to put it near my desk, because the whole intention was so that I wouldn't always be pulling out the chopper. Although I do love the chopper. Nice scrap. Let's just clean it up though, so it's not got that yucky edge on it. Okay, and then we'll trim this a bit, not too much. That's good. That will be a nice scrap as well. And then move to him. Oh, actually, I gotta go closer, because that's the one that has sort of two sharp edges. And we'll save this little bit, I think. Okay. Now, let's give this a press. I have the poetry that I want to use for her. Mystic builders in the brain, mirth and sorrow, joy and pain, grief and gladness, gloom and light, build, oh build my heart aright. And then I was going to skip the middle bit to go to day by day I gather from all you give me I become, yet a part of all I meet in the fields and in the street. Yeah. And I thought we would do that here. Put that little poem back. I'm sorry if these are a little bit of glare on these. It's shinier paper. That's the trouble when you're filming. I've got to get more side light probably when I reorganize how I want to do my film setup eventually. I will probably have more light coming from the sides. Okay. So what I had pulled out for him was going to be the robin flew from his swinging spray of ivy onto the top of the wall, and he opened his beak and sang a loud, lovely trill merely to show off. Nothing in the world is quite as adorably lovely as a robin when he shows off, and they are nearly always doing it. And I was thinking of putting a robin on this, but now I think I'm going to use this instead, because I've said this is sort of celestial. The reason the birds can fly and we can't is simply that they have perfect faith, for to have faith is to have wings. And I think that can fit better into a bit of a celestial feeling piece. And it will take kind of any religion connotation away and make it more kind of ethereal. I think I'll put that here at the bottom. Now I'm struggling with that red don't want red. Reason birds can fly and we can't is simply that they have perfect faith. I'm going to change this up in order to get rid of the red. I know I'm extra. It's just, I don't know, it takes me to like a Red Hat Ladies feeling colorway. And I don't know why that bothers me. I just don't like red and purple together. So instead, we're going to switch this up a little bit. I have nothing against the Red Hat Ladies. They're wonderful, actually. My mother-in-law is one. Okay, so we're going to take the word perfect out of here. Keep faith here. Okay. Now we'll start with the word perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay. And you could add an "a" at the beginning if you wanted to, but I don't really need to. When you're playing with word snippet poetry and stuff, it's like, I think it's expected. It's a little artful, you know? I forgot to trim the end of that. Hold on. So sticky. Okay, so then the verse becomes, perfect reason birds can fly and we can't is simply that they have faith. For to have faith is to have wings. Just kind of ink that up a little, and then get rid of these scraps, and I need to get some things. Okay, things gotten. So I've got the Stemperia Collectibles Cosmos Infinity by Christina Adovan, and these are the what are they called? Chipboards. So because he talks about birds, there is this very fun celestial kind of eagle chipboard, and I'm just going to see if I can't split it out here to make it thinner by peeling it off the backing of the chipboard. And I almost always end up using all my chipboard pieces like this. It's just, I don't know, it just happens that way. I only keep them as chipboard if I use them on a cover, and I rarely do for whatever reason. Every now and then. But they're usually very easy, even if they have tiny little bits like to peel. And I was thinking, I kind of want to cover the red. Yeah. I mean, I can cover it with something else. Let's just put this down as I want it, and then I can cover the red with something else, possibly even just a bit of book spine to come off the side. Maybe that's a little thick though. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's just do some of this. Gotta glue that glue back down. Hoping this video is going to be okay today. My phone that I use just for the preview from my camera, my actual phone that I use every day, it has become an issue. It's got some issue. It's a Google Pixel, and it's a couple years old though. It's like a 7 because it's a work phone. My work requires me to have a phone, so that's the phone that I have. And so it just started doing this weird, I love Google Pixel phones because they're so integrated, but it started doing this weird thing where like the idle lock screen, it kind of looks like the Matrix. It's just like flashing and being weird. And so I did some research and found that there isn't a fix for it, and it's kind of like an indicator that you're a week or two away maybe from your phone's display dying. And you know, it's funny, I always go through phones. Like I used to be in the Apple cult. I had an iPhone, and you know, I liked it for the usability. But then they did this thing where they just like demoted the version of phone that I had, and I could no longer I could no longer use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So that made me really annoyed because like that's planned demoting of like, you know, your phone. So you have to buy a new one, which really annoyed me. Because I like to use things until they're truly broken so that I'm not just like putting more and more into the universe, you know, of garbage. So then my Samsung that I got after that, I got a Samsung phone, liked it a lot too. It was a bit of a usability difference that I had to get used to, but I did. And then it's weird. Its screen stopped being like it wouldn't respond, and I had to get this weird key thing to like access the screen to be able to do a backup. It was so weird. And now this phone is doing this, but so far I would say this is annoying, but like it's still working. So I should be getting a new phone. I'm going to go Google Pixel again. I'm going to get the 9, not the one with the double screen. I thought about getting it like with that folding cool looking double screen, but I worry that it's like it's going to have issues. Oh, I like that page. I'm going to pull that page out for my dear journals. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, I don't want to have weird like issues with the display screen at all. So I don't want to get like the super techie thing that, you know, I end up regretting. So this is mostly stars and things, but we might be able to get a couple little bits off this page, like this and this. Yeah. Let's grab a couple of those. This one. That one. And do I have room for that kind of cool moon? I think not, because it would sit on top of my bird. Okay. And for her, do we want anything up here? I don't know necessarily. I don't think I need her to be as celestial as the other one. But would we want to put any kind of a chipboard thing? Oh, and I've got little planets here in the chipboard. I didn't even realize. Little bits and bobs in here that we can use. This one. Maybe we'll give her like a moon. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, that should be good. So so now we just need to thin out some chipboards here. Just kind of get your nail in there, or like if you have a, what works really well are these, where's my pokey tool? I don't know where my pokey tool is. It's there somewhere. It's right in front of my face. I know it is. It's like literally right there. But just like a little something you can poke in there to kind of like separate the layers. And then you'll see there's probably like 4 layers. And you just try to get behind as best you can that last one to thin it as much as possible. And you can usually kind of get them off in a few layers. This one's not as cooperative for some reason. There we go. Oh no, it is. You just had to get behind that right layer, like I said. And then all is well. Okay. When you separate the chipboards, you want to be a little bit liberal with the glue, because like it soaks a little more glue up. Okay, so that's that one. Good. And then this one, I need to try to separate this one a little carefully because it's so teeny. There we go. But like I said, even though they're really fine, see how easy that came apart? And we can actually use this one too just by throwing some gilding wax on it. So let's do that. I feel like this video might end up being a little long, but for those of you who are Tuesday 10 fans, that might be okay, because these are usually longer videos, and I think most folks don't really mind. So, and it's been a little while, right, since I've done one of these, so we're getting back in the groove. I'm hoping to just do some filming today because I don't have a lot on the agenda. And what I do have to do that's work related, I'm kind of like avoiding it, but I do need to do it. I came up with this really good way to do something that I've been thinking all week about how to improve, and I'm glad that I did, except that I think it's going to take me a while to do the initial kind of first time setup of this thing. And then I'm like, why do I only think of this now? I was racking my brain all last week. What is a good way to do this thing I need to do, like technology wise? And then I just thought of it today. So I just got to build a little website, and I got to do that. I also see like a lot of people are leaving Meta, Facebook, and Instagram because of the archaic, nonsensical, weird, like Mark Zuckerberg behavior of like getting rid of fact checking and moving their team from California to Texas to say it's less biased. The whole thing feels so right-wing, and so because of the change in U.S. government. And, you know, it's interesting and funny that, like, they're planning to ban TikTok because they're so concerned about China's impact on them. But, like, what about the impact on, like, known to be pretty unethical billionaires? Just, like, what is going on in the world? Obviously, thoughts for bigger brains than me, but quite concerning stuff. I'm just hoping we have like a whole new type of like social media happen soon, like a whole new, like I'm on Blue Sky now. I'm using Blue Sky because it seems like it's going to be more ethical and better. But, you know, I think a lot of things start that way and then they kind of change, or like they don't get enough support. So I hope some good things are headed our way as it relates to that. Okay, so we finished those. Now we've got this stuff left. I do think that's cute. Cute. as 2 pockets maybe that we could put a little something on. Yeah, I do like that actually. And then this in itself is just a little ticket. So really, it's kind of done. You know what? Like sometimes in Tuesday 10, it's just bringing something to the stage. It could be used. So that literally could just be put into a journal, stapled on something, glued on something. So I'm going to call that done, even though all I had to do with it really was to cut it out. But I took the time to do that, and that's what's important. So I need my glue book. I'm also like wistfully feeling a little FOMO watching everybody get started on all these new projects for the new year. And I'm not letting myself jump into anything right now though, because I really want to work on my own sort of series, my own themes this year. I've got a lot of ideas, and I know if I get hooked into something time consuming that I won't be doing what I want to do, which is my own stuff, my own ideas. Good. Then what I'm thinking, that would be cute on this one. This little bit of burlap, maybe. We'd need a little something else there though too. No, not that one. I get so like picky and persnickety when I'm trying to. I kind of like it like that as like a little jumble of things. That's fun. And I think I would literally just stitch it. So let's just set that down. Done. And I will stitch around it. Then this one, she's so cute. I have like a whole photography collection of her, of this little girl and her family. They were like this really cool, like ritzy family. Her mother's like beautiful, like they're obviously socialites, 1920s and 30s socialites. Okay, so there's that, and okay, I want like a bit of grungy book spine here, like so, and then I need. I've got these Tim Holtz words. See, again, with the Tim Holtz words, right? Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. Let's do that one. Let's do a little space right there. And then this, I will stitch on. So I'll do my stitching. I'll come back and I'll show you everything we made. So we made 14 pieces all together, and I got my stitching done. So the first is this little Ex Libris typical little simple label, and then the 2 little tuck spots of the birds and the bird eggs. So cute. And then our little Hello Crow Shouted Toad from the Frog and Toad book, that little journal card. This I think is a tuck spot with these deer, and I will probably be putting that in my current deer journals I'm working on. Then our little Nomi toadstool child here. Tuck spot with the crow screeching. This tag, and that leaf is nice and dry now. I stitched around that. And then the coffee stained one, it's all dry now. Our poet. And the 2 celestial feeling journal cards, I stitched around them. Pop them over here, and then last is the ticket. We can't forget about that ticket. And then last are the 2 pockets. I just added a word snippet, live, create, tell the story, and stitched around those. So I am happy with this little collection of 14. Hopefully you had fun here. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, I expect to be doing Tuesday 10s again now that I'm finished, like, you know, the Ephemera and all of that kind of stuff. So I will talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.